I thought I'd show off some of the amethyst I have in my collection. Now, admittedly, I don't actually have a lot, and the few pieces I have are, or at least some of the few pieces I have, aren't super spectacular. Now, a couple of the pieces, three of the pieces here are from Canada. This is a seam of amethyst from Bancroft, Ontario. I hope the pink is, or sorry, the purple is very pale in this with this camera, so I hope it's picking it up properly. This one I think is from around the Thunder Bay area. I'd have to double check. This was gifted to me by a friend of mine. This I actually, funnily enough, I found this in a garden bed that we were digging up and basically cleaning out and replanting and putting in new like plants and mulch and stuff. So we were also taking out all the old garden stone, and this was some garden stone I found in a garden bed while landscaping during high school. And this is obviously it's a very light purple amethyst druzy from most likely Thunder Bay. You can kind of see the granite matrix, which is kind of a dead giveaway that it's probably Thunder Bay. See, there's one kind of larger point there, but most of this is kind of amethyst druze, and there's even tiny flecks of pyrite in there if you see that. Now, the two other pieces, more spectacular pieces in my mind, one is an amethyst point from Ward, Colorado. This was gifted to me by a friend of mine, Kevin. I actually have a video of me unboxing the full package he sent me, and this was one of the pieces I received in the package. Another piece he sent me was the super dark amethyst. It's hard to tell, but there we go. You can see it actually has a phantom in it. And this is also another Colorado piece, but this comes from Devil's Head, which is a location known for its smoky quartzes and feldspars mostly, and maybe some fluorites, I think. But this is literally a very spectacularly dark purple amethyst point with a lovely little phantom at the end. Here are a couple more pieces. This is a piece from Brazil, and then this is a piece from Uruguay, most likely, I believe, or maybe Brazil. It's hard to tell with these pieces. This one was gifted to me by my mother. I think she got this as a gift, and then she gave it to me. And then this one was gifted to me as a friend by a friend. These are the two only South American pieces I have in my collection. Now we move on to the only Central American piece I have, a nice little plate of Veracruz amethyst. Now Veracruz amethyst is kind of known for being a very light purple amethyst, kind of like the tips being mostly dark usually, and the crystal points tend to be very like thin and fragile, but very lovely nonetheless. And this is a lovely example of a Veracruz amethyst specimen. Now, I'm sure there's some of you folks that are asking, how does our amethyst form? Because it's just a variation of quartz. Now, the purple color could come from multiple things. I believe the main way is due to hematite inclusions, and then there's also irradiation and some inclusions of other like ions and stuff that can cause quartz to turn purple. But the main way, from what I understand and from what I read, is due to hematite inclusions. And actually, an interesting note on that, I don't have a specimen in my collection, but there's this pink amethyst that comes, I think, mainly out of Argentina, that for a while there was a debate online whether it was not pink amethyst or just quartz with hematite inclusions, and some experts, I think, finally weighed in and said, well, the hematite inclusions in the quartz come in the same way as the inclusions in amethyst, so you could, in theory, call it pink amethyst, because it's the same formation. It's just instead it's a lighter pink color, which makes sense. You know, if you look at a color range of like purple and you see it on a spectrum, the end of the spectrum you'll probably see the color pink. So it makes sense that you could in theory get pink amethyst. Now, amethyst's name originates actually from the ancient Greeks. There's this little mythological story about this young maiden called Amethyst who managed to draw in the attention of the Greek god Dionysus. Now, Dionysus is kind of like known as the party god, and he's a bit of a more raunchy, and you could almost call it, a raunchy kind of rude god, I guess you could say. Amethyst, she did not like that Dionysus was drawn to her, and so she called on some other gods to protect her and keep her from being, getting in an unfortunate situation. And so one of the gods heard her cries and turned her into a solid white stone statue, and Bacchus only caught up to her after she had been turned to stone, and I guess to mourn that he could not have her, he poured a cup of wine on top of her, and kind of wine is like one of Bacchus's main symbols, and that wine is said to have stained the white rock that Amethyst had been turned into purple. And so that is where the name Amethyst comes from. Now, I believe in ancient times it was believed that amethyst was a cure for hangovers, which might be, it probably correlates to its Greek origin myth, so to say. So that's just a little interesting little tidbit of history that I hope you guys found kind of interesting. And it's definitely one of, well, for the Greeks it's on par, no offense to them, the ancient Greeks. Their mythology can be a bit wacky and stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video.